project management. But before we discuss the topic, let us pray the Dominican blessing. In the name of Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
May God the Father bless us. The Son lead us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us and give us eyes to see with, ears to hear with, hands to do the work of God with, feet to walk with, and mouth to preach the word of salvation. And may the angel of peace watch over us and lead us at last with the rich gift to the kingdom. Amen.
Amen. In the name of Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. So, project management. Simple words lang. Easy to understand. From the words project management, managing a project. Proper definition, project management involves planning, organization of a company resources to move a specific task, event, duty towards completion. It can involve a one-time project or an ongoing activity, and resources managed include personnel, finances, technology, intellectual property. So when you manage a project, it is not just the project or the activities that you need to monitor. When you manage a project, all resources that you need for the specific task, all resources that you need to complete your project, your goal, you have to check and monitor. Because that would lead to the success of your goal. So, hindi lang the activity, hindi lang time. Also, we're checking your personnel, the people involved, sino yung mga taong hahawakan mo, sino yung mga taong ima-manage mo that could help you or people will contribute their skills, their knowledge towards the project. Finances, if your project needs financing or there is an estimated cost or expense for the project or the activities of a particular project. Technology, the materials that you need, supplies, and intellectual property of the company. So, ito lahat ay activities or involvement in planning organization a project. Project management is often associated with the fields in engineering, construction, in construction of infrastructure, construction of machines, airplanes, ships, mga ganyan, yung malalaking construction. Because it takes time to build projects. This project takes time. More lately, healthcare, research and development, pharmacy, medicine, healthcare, and information technology, which typically have a complex set of components that have to be completed and assembled in a set fashion to create a functioning product. So, kasi with this industries, mostly a project is composed of different areas, different teams, different components to complete, and ang gagawin na lang is to assemble, meet the people involved, assign tasks, distribute the labor, meetings after meetings towards the end of the project. Hanggang sa ma-produce nila yung desired output. So that is project management. As a project manager or the leader of the project, there are certain tasks and roles that you need to do. So the project manager is involved in the project planning, of course. Aside from the members, the project manager spearheads or leads the meetings about the project, the planning, the analysis of the situation. Siya yung nag-chair or siya yung nag-lead. Revisions and updates, if there are any, the project manager will have to update the team, report to the team every now and then. What are the changes? What are the updates? Uh, what are the foreseen risks? Everything. So, laging may meeting between the project manager and the project team. Also, project manager um, prepares the reports, performance reports, milestones, ano na, the growth of the project, at what level na yung project. These reports are being presented to your client, to your top management, yung boss mo pa, the CCOO, or whoever is above you by title. And then, during those executive meetings, they'll have feedback, issues to raise, and you need to adjust. Doon papasok yung mga revision and updates. And also, during these reports and project analysis, risk within the resources, issues within the resources, delays. Pag sinabing resources, it's not just the time, also resources about money, cost, materials that you need. So, dun nagkakaroon ng adjustment regarding time, cost, problems, the risk, the delays. Yan lahat i-oversee, monitor, kailangan ng some of the situation should have an urgent decision from project manager, some decision should be by the team, some should be with the top management. Lahat yan minamanage ni project leader or project manager. Three phases of project management. Major, if you or if nadaanan nyo na yung SDLC, these stages are very familiar kasi common to sa mga sa SDLC, sa software development life cycle, because software project, software development are actually the project that needs managing. Kapag nag-work na kasi kayo, if you're in the industry, hindi naman ang task assignment, o ikaw gawa ka ng sales inventory, o ikaw programmer 2 gawa ka ng library system, o ikaw programmer 3 gawa ka ng app. Hindi siya isa-isa. More likely, if you're in an industry, you have a project, you have a group of programmers, and the distribution is per feature. O programmer A, you're assigned with this feature. Programming B, you create this module. O ikaw bahala sa security, ikaw bahala sa database, ikaw bahala sa design. So, per component ang uh, distribution of labor when it comes to software projects. So, this phases familiar with SDLC kasi this SDLC nga yung ginagamit ng mga software teams in building or developing their softwares. So we have planning. Under planning, usual are the objectives, the resources, identifying the objective of the team, the resources available, and identifying the work breakdown schedule, the organization, the components, the different teams that they need to tap in, who's who. So that's planning. Scheduling, project activities. You schedule the project activities, the sequence of your activities, start and end time Also the network. You'll identify or you'll know better what is network when it comes to scheduling. And in control, dito nangyayari yung mga adjustment kasi any project, hindi naman yan one-way street. Merong dadaan, maglo-loop ka within one activity, babalik-balikan mo tong isang component na to, babalik-balikan mo tong isang feature na to. Kasi it requires mostly trial and error, um, frequent revision. So you'll have to monitor resources, compare, revise, and take action. So controlling, andyan lagi yung adjustment. Especially, the more risks that you identify along your project, along the way, the more adjustment that you need to do with the different components or different parts of your project. So these are the three phases common to SDLC, and these are phases of project management. For planning, yon. Tulad ng sinabi kanina, setting goals, define the project, you establish your goal, you establish the direction that you want to take, tying the needs into time project activity, you identify the resources, you identify the different department that you need to involve into your project. Um, Kasi ano yung ba yung different departments? When it comes to company, iba-iba yan. You'll have the IT department, the most common. You'll have the administration. You'll have the marketing. You'll have the HR. Depende sa kung sino yung kailangan mong i meron ding under HR, nandyan yung training. So, depende kung anong involvement ng department, kung anong kailangan mo, and anong department yung dapat na i-involve. Organizing the team, pagka mostly nagkakaroon ng changing of team, reshuffle, depende sa decisions ng manager. So pagka pabago-bago yung team, of course, kasama dyan yung um, like team building, getting to know who's who in the team, identifying the strengths and weaknesses of your team members. That's part of organizing the team. So the output is the time and cost estimate, budgets, engineering diagrams, cash flow charts, material availability details, and other um, materials that you need, all those details. So project scheduling, the tasks that you do are tying resources to specific activities, relate activities to each other, update and revise the schedule on a regular basis. Your outputs and tools that we usually use are CPM and PERT, Gantt charts, milestone charts, cash flow schedules. This could be a part of your presentation or in your reports. These tools could help you come up with a more like a diagram for you to explain the details of the project that you're on. Project controlling, monitoring resources, cost, quality and budget, revising changing plan, shifting resources to meet the demands. Report your outputs or deliverables are the budgets, the delay activities, your updates with the team, update with the management, and the slack activities. Ito yung mga in behind or also the activities that not so much parang not hindi kailangan ng urgent focus. Okay? So these are the activities under each phases. And one of the tools that we will be discussing today, Gantt chart, you're familiar now with Gantt chart, devised by Henry Gantt. Another tool that we'll be discussing today is the CPM, PERT, or PERT CPM in other terms. PERT stands for Program Evaluation Review Technique. CPM is Critical Path Method. This is not only used by IT, engineers and architects also use PERT CPM. yes, they have a project like subdivision, they present the estimates and the time using PERT CPM. So in PERT CPM, this is actually a scheduling tool, and scheduling is a project activity that where we can relate people, wherein we relate people, money, and supplies, materials needed to a specific activity and activities to one and other. So, in scheduling, hindi lang siya time, hindi lang we assign a specific time, specific day. Di yun yung conventional scheduling. When we say scheduling, you involve or you identify sino yung people involved. Sino yung people who will be on this activity, particular activity. Because kapag ka meron kayong project, it's a series of activity. It's a sequence of activity. Iba-ibang activities yan that you need to uh, execute. So activity after activity, task after task. And each task, pwedeng all of the members are involved on another task. It's just a couple of members. Yung isa, o ikaw bahala sa design, ikaw bahala sa client interview, ikaw bahala sa research. Depende kung ano yung distribution. So you have to identify the people involved, money, cost if needed, materials, supplies, technology that you'll be needing. So ganun ang scheduling when it comes to project management. It's not hindi lang time. The purpose of project scheduling is we show the relationship of each activity to others. Relationship of activity to other components involved. People, money, supply, activity, relation of activity to another activity. And identifying that relation is we identify the precedence of this relationship or the precedence of the activity. Ano yung activity na urgent? Ano yung activity na you can slack off a bit? Ano yung activity na we have to um, accomplish prior activities first or tasks before natin maumpisahan yon. Ibig sabihin, we cannot start with step 8 kung hindi pa tapos yung step 7 or step 5. Bakit may mga activities na gano'n? Probably because we are waiting for an output from step 5 or step 7 that is needed for us to start step 8. So doon nagkakaroon ng precedence yung activities. May magpagkakasunod-sunod. Mayroon silang fixed sequence. Also, project scheduling we encourage the setting of realistic time and cost estimate. When we assign monetary values, time value for a specific task, and in the long run for the whole project, realistic estimate sana. Pagka overestimation, problem is parang niloko mo naman yung client mo. Another is when pag nasa company na kayo, it's not just one project. It's one project after another project. So if tumagal kayo dun sa project na to, this could have an effect for the next project, the succeeding project that you can have. And of course, a series of project means more money for you, more money for the company. Also, projects, yun. So, pagka over, hindi advisable. Pag under, hindi rin advisable because giving under realistic time and cost, mabibitin ka, madidelay yung project, kulang yung budget for the project. So, kailangan realistic. Stick to realistic. And dun naman pumapasok yung mga tools um, for us to come up with realistic estimates. And number 4 is to help us better use of people, money, material resources. Better use of people, hindi naman ibig sabihin gagamitin natin yung tao. That means is we maximize or sinusulit natin the resources that we have in terms of the contribution of the people involved or the project members, money, and the materials that we need. So we maximize the use of everything. So that is the purpose of project scheduling. 6 steps common to PERT CPM. Actually, five yan, sorry. So first is we build the work breakdown structure or WBS. In work breakdown structure, from the words work breakdown, this is your listing of the activities and also identifying the people involved, the distribution of labor, andyan sa work breakdown structure. Step 2 is you draw the network. Basing from the WBS that you have, you'll be preparing the network. Ano ba yung network na yan? Smart ba yan? Globe? Hindi po yun yun. The network, parang neural network, ganon. Yung connect the dots. So, we'll have an activity about that later. Assign time and or cost estimates. If you notice here, and then or siya, ibig sabihin, it's possible that you are both estimating the time and cost, or either your goal is to check the cost estimate or the time alone estimate. For the activity later, we'll focus on time estimates. Number 4, compute the critical path. And number 5, what is critical path ba? You'll know what is critical path later. And number 5 is use the network to help plan, schedule, monitor, and control the project. So we use these tools for us to come up with um, better decisions. Ano pa ba? Better decisions for the project and better adjustments if needed for the project. So let's start with the steps. O, hindi pa pala. So yun nga. So these tools are used for coming up with a good decision for the project. Kasi these tools, may mga outputs yan. They provide you data that could help you analyze the situation or the growth of your project. So, part niyan is network analysis. Network analysis is the general name given to certain specific techniques which can be used for the planning, management, and control of project. As project manager sa IT industry, actually, so ang mga job titles that you can, if you will notice, pagpasok nyo sa IT industry, you'll start with the entry level, junior programmer, ganon. O, kung may entries, mas entry level pa doon, encoder, kamo na. Encoder, tapos junior programmer, and then kasama ng junior programmers, QA of course, yung QA may level din nun. Then senior programmer, and then project leader or the project manager, and then higher like chief manager, chief chief technical officer, CTO, yan, may iba't ibang job title. Kung mapapansin niyo, project manager has less involvement or programming tasks kasi the project manager is almost part of the management team or the executive team. Yung mga immediate decisions, si project manager na yung nagbibigay. Hindi naman utos ng utos. Part nung directing the team at assigning the task of the team is to analyze kung anong meron yung team and kung ano nang naabot or na-accomplish ng team na yon. Yun yung binabayaran kay project manager. For programmers, ang binabayaran is the programming skills. For project managers, ang binabayaran is the decision-making skills. And good characteristics of a good decision maker is analysis. So kailangan talaga marunong kayong magbasa, hindi pala, masipag kayong magbasa. Magbasa ng data, mag-analyze ng data. So let's start with the activity of PERT CPM, or how do we conduct PERT CPM. So in PERT CPM, you need to identify the activity, the events, and come up with the network and analyze the network. First is we build the work breakdown structure. For the work breakdown structure, if you notice here, the first column are the activities. Activity A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Hindi lang yan ganyan. For the activity, it's naka-legend na yung mga yan. So for example, your activity A is client hunting. Kunwari lang to ha. And then for B is library research ko no. Then activity C is group meeting. Kunwari ganyan yung activities. Okay? So hindi yung details na nakalagay nito. Naka-legends na lang sila. Kasi once we plot those details, pag nilagay na natin yung details na yan sa network, parang ang haba pag ilalagay pa yung exact activity description. So, naka-legend na lang sila, and then this legends may representation, or yung details ng representations is naka-attach din dun sa network. And for the next column, if you notice, may predecessor. Ito yung sinasabi nating series or task after task. If you notice here, yung first three, wala silang predecessor. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng sabay-sabay mag-start yan. Pwedeng at any time, or hindi pala. Basta sabay-sabay silang mag-start. And then, for activity D, meron siyang predecessor B. Ibig sabihin, before we could actually start D, meron munang library research. So, it could be na, example, ang activity D is brainstorming, ganun. So, before you could do this activity, dapat nakapag-library research muna kayo. Ganun din sa E. For E, meron siyang predecessor. And the rest, meron naka-assign ng predecessor. Kasi kung walang predecessor yan, lahat yan sabay-sabay mong gagawin. Eh hindi naman ganun nga yung realidad. It's task after another task, because from a prior task, there's an data that you need, there's a result, an output that you're waiting, that would be an input for the next activity or next task. And then for column, the third column you have the duration. For the duration, this could be in days, it could be in weeks, in months, it could be in hours also. Pero higher numbers siguro yung mga yan. Years, medyo matagal na yung years, 15, 17 years, lifetime na. Okay, isang team lang magkakasama. So more likely, these are your duration. Okay? So sabihin natin days, kunwari, or weeks. Pero matagal yung 8 days para sa library research siya. So this is just an example. So you already have the breakdown structure, WBS, and then from the data that you have from WDS, we will now build the network. For the network, if you remember yung directed graph, you have the nodes, you have the arrows, ganun din siya. Okay? So, it's a graphical representation of the schedule. So, meron tayong start node, of course. Lagi may start. Tulad din ng orientation ng ERD flowchart, it's top to bottom, left to right. And then let's plot the first activity, activity A. So activity A is starting from the start node and we label that as A. Label B, this is your B, this is the arrow, and then label natin na B. C starts also with 0 or the start and label. And then let's plot D. For D, meron na siyang predecessor. It's B. Ibig sabihin, we put another node here indicating that's the end of B and this is the start of D. Ay. Okay? Then we have F, predecessor is C, similar. Uh, we'll end C here and let's start E or the line for E. And then we have F, predecessor is A. And if you notice G, also the predecessor is A. Meaning, from this node, ending node of A, we'll have two arrows or branches. And one is for F and the other one is G. Okay? And we have H coming from F. Ay, mali, mali, mali. Hindi naman kayo nagre-react. This is your F. And this is G. Yan. So, H coming from F. Dito na yan. The end of F, the start of H. And I is from G. End of G, start of I. And J, yan. Si J, dalawa ang predecessor niya. Ibig sabihin, dapat pareho yung dalawa tapos. D and E tapos yan. Before we could start J. So, that means yung ending ng D and E, ending node will be a similar node, common node for D and E. Magtatapos sila D and E sa iisang station or node. And then dun mag-i-start si J. Yan si J. And then dahil wala na tayong list of activity, of course kung meron tayong start node, i-close natin yung network natin. So this will be your ending node. Okay? Wala, bakit naman? Oh, bear with me. So after yan, nakaplot na lahat ng ng activities, the predecessor are carefully followed. So we go now for step 3. Step 3 is to assign the time and or cost estimate. For this case, it's time. So let's go with 6 for A. Duration 6. So itatabi lang natin yung time estimate para kay A, kay activity A. 8 for B. C is 5. D is 13. E is 9. F is 15. G is 17. H is 9. I is 6. J is 12. So we're done with step 2 and 3. Draw the network, assign the time, estimate. Okay? Dali lang. So step 4, after you have the estimates and the network, yun na yung mas magandang version ng drawing ko. Same lang yun ng kanina. We will compute the critical path. Ito may calculation and may computation na. So what we need to do here is we have to get DLS and ES of each node. Okay. So LS stands for latest start. And ES stands for earliest start. So, paano natin gagawin yon? Each node, lalagyan lang natin sila ng, nag-assign tayo ng pwestuhan ng, ano ba yan? Pwestuhan ng LS at saka ng ES. Box talaga yan. Maganda lang talaga yung drawing natin. Okay. Okay. So, each node merong LS and ES. First step is we have to get the ES first, yung mga nasa baba. Paano gagawin? You start with the first node, yung start node natin, and identify natin yung ES. Of course, the earliest time is 0. We start with 0. And then, for each arrow dito sa node na to, i-add natin yung value ng estimate. 0 plus 6 from this path. Yun yung ilalagay natin dito sa node na to, 6. For this node, saan natin kukunin yung ES niya? This value and 0, 0 plus 8 is 8. For this node, 5 plus 0, that is 5. Okay? And then, we go here, for this node, 15 ang value ng F, saan natin i-add yun? Kung ano yung value dito sa node na to. So, 6 plus 15 will be, this is 21. For this node, it's 17 plus 6. Okay, kung ano yung nandito sa node na yan. That is 23. For this node, dalawa yung arrow na pagkukunan niya. We have 13 and we have 9. Let's get 13 first. 8 plus 13 is
21.
21. The other is 9 and 5. 9. 5 plus 9 is
13.
14. So the question now, for this node na kung saan mag-i-start si J, question is, kailan pwede mag-start si J? Is it at week 21 or at week 14?
14, ma'am.
Okay. So week 14, kung mag-i-start si J ng week 14, again, the predecessor of J or yung sinusundan ni J is D and E. Meaning, mayroong akong hinihintay na output for D at saka may hinihintay akong output for E before I could start. If I will start at week 14, 21 pa lang matatapos si D at week 21. Do you think it's possible for me to be successful with task J? Mauumpisan ko ba yung J at week 14? Ma'am, kasi ang kinukuha natin, di ba, ES, earliest start. Hindi naman ibig sabihin yung earliest start, yung ilalagay natin value dito is the earliest start na mag-start si J. Actually, the earliest start na mag-start si J talaga is pagtapos na yung E and D. Kailan matatapos yung E and D?
21.
21. Kasi at week 14, si E pa lang yung tapos. Ongoing pa din si week D until activity D until week 21. By week 21, dun pa lang matatapos si D at saka si E. That's the only time that J could start. So the earliest time that J could start is actually 21. Hindi porket mas mababa yun yung earliest time. Mas maaga nga yung week 14, mas early. However, hindi pa nga tapos yung isang component which is D. Follow?
Follow po.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ilinisin lang natin ang ating drawing. Okay. For this node, it's 21. And we're down to the last node. Okay. For this node, ano yung kukunin natin? Dahil tatlong arrow yung pinagkukunan niya. Let's start with this one. 9 plus 21.
30.
9 plus 21 is 30. The other one, this is 6 plus 23.
29.
This is 30.
29.
And this is 29. And the other one, J, we have 12 and 21,
33.
33. So, anong time ang ilalagay natin for the last node?
33.
33. Correct. Ibig sabihin, by week 33, tapos na yung nakatapos ng week 29. Tapos na itong part na to. Tapos natin itong part na to kasi week 30 tapos pa lang siya. Ibig sabihin, by week 33, everything is done na. Lahat ng activities tapos na. So that is the earliest time na matatapos lahat kasi last node na to eh. Kaya tapos na. And then, after that, linisin na naman natin. After natin kunin yung ES, earliest start, we'll get the latest start naman yung nasa taas. This is 33. Kung ang ES, we do it left to right, start to end. Ngayon, ang LS, latest start, is from right to left or paatras tayo and to start. So, dito, of course, 33 yung nasa taas din niya. Tapos, execute natin isa-isa. 33, okay. Pag ang ES is nag-a-add tayo, di ba? Kanina nag-a-add tayo ng estimates. Ngayon naman, susubtract tayo or magbabawas tayo dun sa estimate. So it's 33 minus 9 is 33 minus 9 is 20.
26. 26.
Tapos, ang advice natin when we're doing LS, kung saang saang node ka, idiretso mo lang do sa mga kasunod niya pang node. So, 26 and this arrow na meron siya,
24, ma'am.
ay 24 ba? 33 minus 9 is 24. Okay. So, 24 minus 15, ito yung arrow na kasunod niya. So, 24 minus 15 is
9.
9. Okay. Meron tayong 9 dito. However, on this node, kung mapapansin nyo, meron siya dito at meron siya dito. Ibig sabihin, before we can finalize this value, check din natin tong value na to. So, ilabas ko muna yung 9 na yun. So, this is 9 versus check natin tong kabila kung ano yung magiging output or yung estimate niya. So, from this, start tayo. From here, walang value. Here, may value. 33. 33 minus 6 is
27.
27. Yun yung lalagay natin dito sa taas ng node na to. And then 27 minus 17,
10.
10. So, yung pinaglalabanan natin sa value para dito sa box na to. 9 versus 10. Anong kukunin natin? Kung sa ES, ang kinukuha natin is the higher value. Dito sa LS, ang kinukuha natin is the lower value. Meaning, 9 is the latest start for this node. Ibig sabihin, yung F and G, the earliest start that they could start is 6, and the latest week that they could start is 9 weeks, or week 9. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang 3 weeks allowable delay. Pero pag lumampas ng 9, that could be critical or that could be a crucial decision for the succeeding activities. Kapag lumampas ng, kasi latest start pag lumampas ng 9 yan, maapektuhan yung mga susunod pang activities. So that is the latest start. Kukunin natin yung mas mababa. Ang daming drawing. Bawasan ko lang yung mga drawing, ha? No. Ayan. This is 9. Okay, this is 23. Ay, ano to? 20, 33 minus 6, 27. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa part na yon. And then, continue nyo tayo with this one. So that is 33 minus 12 is
21, ma'am.
21. And then 21 going here, minus 13.
8, ma'am.
8. Still 21. Going here, minus 9.
12, ma'am.
12. Tapos, gusto tuloy natin hanggang doon. 12 minus 5 is 7. 8 minus 8 is 0. 9 minus 6 is 3. The lowest is 0. So, talagay natin dito ay 0. Pero normally, that's 0, 0. Tapos, pareho din yung nasa dulo. So, after we have computed the latest start and the earliest start, it's time for us to get the float. Hindi po McDo float yan. Hindi rin siya float ng data type. Float formula is LS minus ES per node. So, kukunin natin yung float ng every node. 0 minus 0, this is 0. 12 minus 5, this is 7. 8 minus 8, this is 0. 9 minus 6, this is 3. 24 minus 21, this is 3. 27 minus 23 is 4. 21 minus 21 is 0. And 33 minus 33 is 0. So that is the float for each node. And after getting the float, it's time for us to identify the critical path. And the critical path is all floats that has 0. Ito yung i-highlight natin or i-identify natin as critical activities. So from this node to this node 0, so the critical activity is B. This node 0 to this node, this is a critical activity. This node and this node is 0, and that is the critical activity. So the critical path, this is the critical path. Critical activities of this project is B, D, and J. Meaning, as project manager, as project leader, you can, this will be able to help you direct your team. O ikaw, Sai, ikaw yung naka-assign sa activity B, di ba? So please pakiayos naman, focus ka. Ayoko ng delay, no? Ayoko ng delay. O yung Sabat Brothers, kayo yung nasa D. O please ayusin natin. Pag na-delay kayo, naku, malaking problema natin. So, ito yung bilang project manager, ito yung path or yung activities that you will closely monitor. The rest of the activities, meron silang allowable delays. Pero of course, ay sorry, hindi yan. Small room for delay lang yan. That is, yung mga delay na yon, hindi yung delay na, petics, wala tayong gagawin. Those delays are dedicated for adjustments, for possible risks, identifying risk, contingency plan, everything. So, yun yung room for this small room for delays. Pero the rest, critical path. Yan. Importante yan. So that is how we analyze, that's the step 5. We analyze or we use the network to help us plan, schedule, monitor, and control the project. If tayo. And with this one, after plotting the network, we now have a better estimate kung ano yung or kung ilang weeks aabutin yung duration natin. For this case, it's 33 weeks. Kung costing yung pinag-uusapan, by the end of the node or the last node, it can give you a figure how much the project will cost. And this one, this is time estimate in weeks. So we can say that this project, all of the activities in this project, after we have done the completion of the project, is at week 33 or it takes 33 weeks. Okay? So that is CPM, critical path. Yun. Right.